A shocking secret is emerging in the heart of Europe. While the world watches Ukraine's fight for survival, a hidden power play is quietly shaping the battlefield's future. Right under Russia's nose, a new military fortress is transforming the Black Sea's balance of power. Could a tiny country really undermine decades of Russian dominance? The answer might surprise you. Imagine the southern border turning into an unbreakable fortress. Romania, once seen as a quiet neighbor, is now stepping into a different role. Since January 2026, this nation has declared itself a key security provider in the Black Sea region. It's not just protecting its own borders anymore. It's building a major logistics hub designed to support Ukraine and shape the entire conflict. The shift isn't just political, it's concrete, backed by steel and firepower. This new center isn't your average military base. It's set to become NATO's second-largest supply and logistics hub in Ukraine, after Poland's Rzeszów base. But here's what makes it dangerous for Russia: its location and capabilities. While Poland supplies Ukraine's northern and western fronts, this Romanian hub shortens the route to hot zones like Donbas, Kherson, and Crimea, areas Russia tries desperately to control. The crucial part? This isn't about storing weapons alone. This center will operate with an ultra-fast delivery system called the Priority Ukraine Requirements List that cuts bureaucratic delays. Weapons, ammunition, and advanced systems like electronic warfare radars or missile defense units will be transported directly to the front lines immediately. No waiting for approvals, no delays. Every minute counts in war. The infrastructure is more than just a warehouse. Satellite images reveal massive construction efforts at Mikhail Kobalnikianu Air Base. This isn't just aid to Ukraine, it's also transforming Romania's military into a modern strike force, rising on par with NATO standards. Rapid repairs of damaged tanks, quick deployment of new weapons, these are now operational strengths that tip the scales. Meanwhile, Russia watches this move in panic. Their idea was simple: cut Ukraine's supply lines through Poland, and victory would be assured. But now, NATO's southern flank has been fortified, encircling Ukraine in a steel trap. If Russia targets Poland, supplies will flow from Romania. If Russia strikes from the south, northern forces will reinforce the combat zones. A deadly dilemma, designed to suffocate Russia's military strategy. This logistical ring isn't just formidable, it's nearly impossible to hit. The Dacian Shield, a missile defense system stationed at Devasilu, acts like an invisible shield, guarding this entire network. Moscow has openly declared these bases as primary targets, yet they fear these defenses. It's like attacking a fortress with an impenetrable shield, unstoppable and secure. The effects ripple beyond the battlefield. Romania's logistical corridor is vital for Ukraine's exports and energy supplies. Russia's attempts to block grain shipments through the Black Sea are failing. Hungary, Romania's port at Constantine, and rail networks are ensuring Ukraine's resilience. Putin's plan to choke Ukraine economically? Falling apart. And the pressure extends to Moldova and the region of Transnistria. NATO's expanding influence limits Russia's hybrid war options. The separatist strategy? Losing its edge. With NATO's logistics in Romania so close, Moscow's influence in the region is shrinking to nothing. This isn't just about military strategy. It's a wake-up call for Europe. The continent is awakening from decades of complacency. Defense budgets are soaring. Germany plans to rebuild its armed forces. Poland has announced a historic military buildup, turning the eastern border into a death zone for any Russian invasion. Scandinavia is fortifying itself. Nations are preparing to defend their sovereignty, recognizing war's door is creaking open. The biggest surprise? This new strategic strength in Romania is a sign. Europe is transitioning into total mobilization. The old days of diplomatic talks are fading. Real power is now measured in steel, logistics, and readiness. The face of the conflict is changing. Are Russia's plans falling apart at the seams? The stakes have never been higher, and the game is reaching a boiling point. Romania has transcended its role as a simple border protector. It is now emerging as the strategic safeguard of the Black Sea region. This shift, announced by the Romanian defense minister in the new national defense strategy, signals a transformation. This is not just a bureaucratic declaration, it's a real-world military revolution. A massive new logistics hub is rising from the ground. Unlike conventional bases, this facility is a fortress of steel and precision. Once completed, it will become NATO's second-largest logistics and supply center for Ukraine, second only to the Rzeszów base in Poland. But what sets it apart? Its location and purpose strike fear into Russian corridors of power. While Poland supplies Ukraine's northern and western fronts, Romania's new route cuts directly to the heart of the conflict zones, Donbas, Kherson, and Crimea. The last mile, that critical link, has long been the army's nightmare. Now, Romania is transforming that nightmare into a battlefield advantage for Ukraine, and an existential threat for Russia. This center's true power lies far beyond storing weapons. It's built for speed, operating with an ultra-fast system known as the Priority Ukraine Requirements List. Traditional logistics can take weeks or months. Here, weapons, ammunition, and supplies are dispatched instantly. No political signatures needed. No delays. As soon as a package enters, it's on the move, racing through Romania's rail and road arteries, straight to the front lines. Imagine the battlefield, every minute wasted by Russian forces is erased. The enemy's gains are wiped out in moments. This is more than logistics, it's a strategic weapon in itself. These facilities are not mere warehouses. They're advanced repair centers for electronic warfare systems, counter-battery radars, and NATO's most sophisticated air defense technology. Satellite imagery has long revealed the extensive infrastructure at Mikhail Kobalnikianu Air Base. Now, it's clear, this space is a command hub for expedited aid, transforming Romania into a frontline hub and economic and military fortress. This rapid support system is pushing Ukraine's resilience to the limit and leaving Russia scrambling. The implications are staggering. As the flow of supplies accelerates, Ukraine's military momentum surges forward. Meanwhile, Russia's strategic calculations become increasingly fragile, caught between fighting on multiple fronts with no safe haven. Each second counts, and Romania's new logistic network ensures that Kyiv's fighters never face a shortage. But the urgency deepens. Russia's threats of targeted strikes on these logistical centers reveal their dread. They know that attacking such a fortified node is nearly impossible thanks to an integrated missile shield and advanced defenses. The security of aid channels is now a critical element of victory. This isn't just a logistical upgrade. It's a seismic shift in regional power dynamics, encapsulating the rapid awakening and mobilization of Europe. Countries traditionally cautious now marshal billions of euros into military expansion, Poland's record defense budget of 4.7% of GDP, Germany's plans to enlarge its armed forces, and Scandinavia's fortress-like fortresses. The entire continent is transforming, realizing that peace depends on strength. As this new network solidifies, the balance of power tilts decisively. The question this reality raises is terrifying for Russia. Is their strategy of chaos and attrition becoming obsolete in a landscape defined by speed, innovation, and unwavering resilience? This is a battle of logistics, speed, and technological mastery. It's a new warfare where every moment matters and where Romania's fortress walls become the heartbeat of a potential Eastern European victory. In the heart of Europe, a colossal transformation is unfolding that could reshape the entire battlefield. Imagine an invisible fortress rising from the ashes of outdated logistics, powerful enough to paralyze the world's largest military machine. Does Russia see this? Or are they blind to a growing storm brewing just beyond their reach? The stakes have never been higher. Previously, we explored how Romania's shift from a quiet neighbor to a strategic powerhouse is rewriting the rules of engagement. Now, the story dives deeper into how this hidden engine of war is roaring to life, threatening to turn the tide in a way no one predicted. Romania's military infrastructure is far more than simple storage. It's a nerve center designed for maintenance, for upgrades, for rapid transfer of cutting-edge electronic warfare systems, counter-battery radars, and NATO's most advanced air defense components. These facilities are not just backups, they are a game-changing force. War-hardened armored vehicles, previously forced to trek thousands of kilometers to Poland, now find new life behind Romanian borders. Leopard tanks and Caesar howitzers are being swiftly repaired, rearmed, and sent back into the fight quicker, smarter, deadlier. Satellite images reveal massive infrastructure projects at Mikhail Kobalnikianu Air Base, an indication of a strategic pivot. This isn't just support for Ukraine. It's a bold move to elevate Romania itself into a NATO-ready battlefield threat. The country is modernizing its tank fleets, eyeing the F-35 stealth fighters. and building a naval force capable of challenging Russia's Black Sea Navy. An emerging regional power stands armed and armored, its logistics arteries reinforced like steel tendons connecting it to the larger alliance. The significance? This shifts the entire game board. Russia's previous assumption was simple: cut Ukraine's northern supply lines in Azov, and Kiev would fall. But now, NATO's new southern corridor, through Romania, creates an inescapable ring around Ukraine. It's a military strategy known as redundancy, a safety net that leaves no single weak point. Suddenly, Russia faces a nightmare. Focusing on one front means neglecting the other. The north, Poland, continues fueling Kiev's defenses. The south, Romania, supplies the southern fronts. Any attack on one flank leaves the other fortified. It's a double-sided trap. This logistical counterattack doesn't just threaten supply lines, it threatens victory itself. And the real shock? The Romanian infrastructure is protected by the Advanced Missile Defense Shield, the Aegis Ashore system at Deveselu, making the new logistics hub nearly invincible. Russia's threat to target these bases is a hollow bluff. Even their most sophisticated missile strikes would fall short. The stakes extend beyond the battlefield. This logistics revolution is also an economic lifeline. Romania's port and rail networks are keeping Ukraine afloat, ensuring vital exports continue despite Russian tactics. The blockade of grain routes, once a major weapon of Russia's hybrid warfare, is crumbling. And what of Moldova? As Romania beefs up its regional defenses, Russia's influence in the separatist region of Transnistria wanes. NATO's shadow looms large, rendering Russia's manipulations in Moldova powerless. Moscow's strategies are unraveling fast. From a broader perspective, this isn't merely a military maneuver. It's Europe's awakening. After decades of dormancy, entire nations have thrown off complacency. Europe is mobilizing, investing billions in defense, building fortresses along their borders, and modernizing armies with unprecedented speed. Poland leads the charge, allocating 4.7% of its GDP to defense in 2025, a historic figure erecting barriers that threaten any Russian advance. Germany has shattered its pacifist shell, planning to expand its military force from 180,000 to over 260,000 personnel, revisiting compulsory service to fortify its defenses. Scandinavia is rising like a fortress, with Denmark extending military service and including women in the draft. The question remains, how long can Russia, in its current state, withstand this synchronized surge of Western resilience? The clock is ticking, and the shadows of a new, unbreakable alliance are lengthening. Before long, the true extent of this profound upheaval could become impossible to ignore unless the unseen becomes visible, and the tides of victory shift once again. With a formidable ring now encircling Ukraine, the strategic landscape has shifted dramatically. Poland commands the northern flank, while Romania dominates the south, creating a critical redundancy that threatens Russia's plans for a single, decisive strike. This dual-front trap leaves Moscow grasping its shadows, fearing the nightmare of a scenario where no singular move can succeed. Imagine this: if Russian forces concentrate their focus on Poland, weapons and supplies flowing through Romania will bankroll Ukraine's eastern frontiers, fueling battles in Donbass and Crimea. Meanwhile, if the Kremlin shifts its attention to the south, armored units advancing from the north will reinforce the Kiev and Kharkiv defenses. This overwhelming dilemma acts like a tightening noose. Each move by Russia only escalates the chaos, diluting its ability to target effectively. Now, picture Putin's command center. His missiles, precision strikes, and sabotage teams are suddenly caught in a complex web targeted not at one single point, but at a sprawling, multi-layered network spreading across borders thousands of kilometers apart. Every day, this web constricts tighter around Moscow. And guarding this critical artery? A formidable shield, the Aegis Ashore missile defense system stationed at Romania's Deveselu base. This invisible barrier forms an almost impenetrable fortress over the logistical hub, rendering threats from Moscow meaningless. The Kremlin knows this all too well. Multiple declarations of these bases as military priorities, threats of strikes, their desperate admissions of fear. Because attacking a fortified logistics center protected by Aegis is like trying to punch through steel, nearly impossible. This shield not only guarantees safe delivery of aid to Ukraine but also disarms Russia's blackmail attempts with ballistic missiles. It's a game changer. But the ripple effects extend far beyond military strategy. This corridor through Romania is now a vital lifeline not just for weapons and supplies, but also for Ukraine's economic stability. The Black Sea grain corridor, previously vulnerable to sabotage by Russia, is now safeguarded by Romania's ports and rail networks. This new route undermines Moscow's plans to cripple Ukraine's economy, proving the Russian blockade strategy has failed. And just as important, this shift sends shockwaves into Moldova and the separatist region of Transnistria. Romania's expanding military and logistical influence is diminishing Russia's hybrid warfare, its covert efforts to destabilize Moldova's independence. Moscow's influence is shrinking, rendered powerless by the new logistical fortress just beyond its reach. In the end, the picture is crystal clear: the war isn't just being fought on battlefields, it's played out in the corridors of logistical power. Romania's strategic move has turned the tide, reshaping alliances and rewriting the rules of engagement. As the web tightens, Russia finds itself increasingly cornered, its once unassailable positions now vulnerable, all thanks to a single, unexpected pivot at the southern gateway. Romania's strategic moves are killing Moscow's influence in Moldova and Transnistria. With NATO's second-largest logistics hub right next door, Russia's plans in the region are collapsing. An isolated Russian garrison can do nothing in the face of this giant. Russia's control? Vanishing. But this isn't just about military power, it's proof of Europe's awakening after decades of dormancy. The continent is shifting from talk to action. No more diplomatic warnings alone. Instead, billions in defense budgets and concrete fortified shelters now define the scene. Leaders have shifted from words to action, realizing war is knocking at Europe's door. Northern borders are transforming into fortresses. Poland is leading an unprecedented military escalation, dedicating a staggering 4.7% of its GDP to defense in 2025. Prime Minister Tusk's Eastern Shield project is forging an impenetrable barrier: anti-tank trenches, fortresses, minefields, and watchtowers spanning the border. This isn't just a line, it's a death trap that could crush any Russian ground assault at first contact. Meanwhile, Germany breaks its pacifist history, aiming to rebuild its army into Europe's largest land force. The number of soldiers will increase from 180,000 to 260,000. The idea of mandatory military service, long taboo, is now openly discussed. Defense Minister Pistorius emphasizes a new mentality: Russia is no longer a trading partner but an existential threat. All these actions create a formidable shield, reversing Moscow's hopes of domination. The question is, how much longer can Russia cling to its outdated strategies before Europe's new defenses truly become unstoppable? The ground is shifting beneath Kremlin's feet, and they might not even realize how close their influence is to extinction. Imagine the echo of gunfire fading as stark steel shields rise across Europe's horizon. The bitter taste of defeat lingers in the Kremlin, where a once divisive strategy crumbles under united resolve. In the previous moments of our tale, Germany shattered its pacifist facade, pledging to forge the Bundeswehr into Europe's mightiest land army. Soldier ranks swell from 180,000 to 260,000. A taboo topic now roars open: compulsory service, unveiled boldly by Defense Minister Pistorius. Berlin no longer courts Russia as a mere merchant. Instead, it eyes the aggressor as an existential specter, poised to engulf freedoms in shadow. This seismic tilt-and-thought exposes Putin's gambit to fracture Europe via pipelines and bargains. It has disintegrated like frost under dawn's relentless heat. Did you feel it? That invisible quake shaking the foundations of his divide-and-conquer illusions? Scandinavia emerges northward, a bristling citadel of resolve, its icy winds whipping defenses into unbreakable resolve. France, too, sharpens its blade, vowing to swell reserve forces twofold by 2030. The clang of armor echoes louder, the scent of gunmetal oil sharp in the air. What harrowing twist swallows the frozen north? Denmark stretches military duty's grasp, weaving it for women as well, birthing a societal fortress where echoes of duty resound. With Sweden and Finland's NATO embrace, the Baltic Sea morphs into an allied moat, its waves now defenders' whispers. From the south, Romania surges in, crafting an unbroken chain from Baltic depths to Black Sea shores. Descending like an iron vice upon Russia's dreams. Yet this wall does not cradle Russia in safety. No, it shackles it, forcing retreat into self-imposed chains, eradicating every shred of escape. Can you envision the suffocating embrace, the iron grip tightening like a noose around ambitions? The Black Sea's equilibrium hasn't merely tipped. It has exploded into oblivion, drowned in a tempest of reversal. Putin's delusional push to shove NATO borders far from his grasp through Ukraine's invasion backfires spectacularly. What fate awaits the orchestrator of such folly? History's most colossal misfire, scattering his empire's ashes. Today, Russia confronts not weakly fortified voids along frontiers, but the globe's fiercest coalition. Heavily armored, fiercely driven, woven by unyielding logistics. Romania's gambit? The culminating chain in this strangling net. No portals yawn open for Russian breaths toward Europe. No slits for gasps of strategic air. Strategically cornered in the war's geographic jaws of its own crafting, Russia rides. This Romanian endorsement? Not merely a depot's unveiling, but a coffin nail hammering shut imperial legacies. Putin's scheme to quarantine Ukraine, wither its veins, obliterates against this unbreakable Bucharest-Warsaw span. Poland's northern barrier stands stalwart. Romania's southern nexus rises adamantly. Together, colossal clamps poised to pulverize Russian aspirations at Europe's thresholds. Feel the metallic chill of inevitability, the distant thunder of futility. What unforeseen tremor will next reverberate through this besieged realm? By January 2026, the entire strategic landscape in the Black Sea had dramatically shifted. What once appeared as a static power struggle had now been rewritten. The Kremlin's hopes of cutting off Ukraine's crucial logistics routes had been shattered, replaced by an unbreakable alliance between Bucharest and Warsaw. The shrinking Russian influence in the region was now a vice gripping their ambitions tightly. Bucharest's rise isn't just military, it's economic. The city's expanding influence is choking Gazprom's grip on Europe's energy supplies. From its control over the Danube Delta to its advanced port facilities, Romania's dominance is crippling Russia's river warfare capabilities and cutting off a vital route to Ukraine's ports at Ismail and Reni. Despite relentless drone strikes, these supply arteries remain open, showing the resilience of this new front line. Imagine the sounds, the rumble of cargo ships, the clatter of railcars swiftly delivering aid, each movement a blow to Russia's plans. The smells of diesel and steel fill the air as advanced repair centers rise behind the front lines. Advanced electronic warfare systems, radars, and anti-missile defenses are now housed within Romania's borders, transforming the entire region into an impregnable fortress. This strategic shield is more than steel and concrete, it's intelligence in motion. The deployment of missile defense systems like the Aegis ashore in Devesela forms an invisible barrier that Moscow fears. Threats from Moscow's foreign ministry confirm this, their language betrays fear, acknowledging the fortress-like strength of these bases. Any attack on this logistical hub would be like striking a nearly invulnerable heart. Meanwhile, the economic ripple spreads wider. Romania's critical port and rail links serve as lifelines for Ukraine's exports and energy needs, undermining Russia's attempts to blockade and choke Ukraine's economy. The myth of Russia's economic stranglehold is crumbling before our eyes. These new routes ensure Ukraine's survival and threaten Moscow's control over the region's energy infrastructure. The shadow of Romania looms heavily over Moldova and the separatist region of Transnistria. With NATO's logistical grip extending to Chisinau, Russia's hybrid warfare strategies weaken further. What seemed like a fragile buffer is now an open wound for Russian influence. Their influence is evaporating, replaced by an ironclad NATO presence. More than a year into this new era, it's clear, Europe has awakened. No longer passive, the continent is mobilizing with unprecedented force. Countries like Poland are investing billions building fortresses along borders, installing anti-tank trenches, and crafting a modern-day death zone that crushes any Russian ground attack at the first step. Germany is shifting gears, preparing to rebuild its military strength to levels unseen in decades. The air is thick with resolve, as each nation steels itself against an existential threat. Every piece of this puzzle reveals a horrifying truth for Moscow: its plans are falling apart. The old strategy of dividing Europe with energy and trade has failed spectacularly. Instead, a united front, reinforced by Romania's strategic logistics and Poland's relentless defense, has created a steel ring around Russia's ambitions. This combination turns the tide, transforming what seemed like a distant nightmare into an impending reality. The game has changed, irrevocably. And as the echoes of this new strategic order grow louder, one question remains: how long can Moscow cling to its fading influence before the entire map is redrawn? Imagine the Baltic Sea whispering icy secrets in the north, while the Black Sea thunders with unspoken threats in the south. Eastern Europe's vast plains stretch like a taut bowstring in the west. Russia's once untouchable buffer zone, that historic shield, has crumbled under NATO's relentless advance. No longer a mystery, the enemy's position is clear. Every gun barrel across the border aims straight at Putin's forces. Romania's metamorphosis isn't merely equipping an army. It's the ultimate strategic masterstroke, encircling Russia in a deadly embrace. On this chessboard, the Kremlin holds no viable moves. Bucharest's ascendancy hammers a final economic spike into Gazprom's heart. Deeper still, Romanian control over the Danube Delta shatters Russian river warfare dominance. Despite fierce drone barrages, the waterway to Ukraine's ports in Izmail and Reni flows uninterrupted. How? Thanks to Romania's protective air defenses and vigilant coastal eyes. Nightly Shahid strikes crash like distant storms, but NATO sensors along the Romanian edge detect them instantly, alerting Kiev's sky guardians. Impacts dwindle to whispers. This fusion of intelligence builds an invisible barrier, crushing Moscow's terror waves. But what if this isn't the end, but the crushing climax? Romania swallows Russia's energy throne with Neptune deep, pumping billions of cubic meters of domestic gas into Europe's veins, stripping Putin of his age-old grip. Yet, here's the jaw-dropping twist, even as Europe awakens. Putin's desperation might unleash a hidden gambit. Could he unleash experimental Yak-141 vertical takeoff jets to shatter Romania's coastal shield? Or will Poland's eastern shield, snarled with trenches and towers, humiliate every Russian thrust into a bloody farce? We stand at the edge. If Romania's rise crushes Russia's naval bluff, Ukraine's gains surge uncontrollably. Yet, the question burns, can the Kremlin survive this Black Sea vortex, or will Bucharest and Warsaw's steel vice choke Putin's dreams into oblivion? Feel the tension mount, the air thick with impending defeat. What fate awaits the bear? Open your eyes, this war's heartbeat echoes louder than ever. Will Europe's unity force Putin's hand into surrender, or birth a monstrous counterstrike that redefines everything? Is this the silent scream of an empire's fall? Pause here, replay. The smells of gunpowder and diesel mix with the salty tang of the Black Sea. Rough winds rattle command tents. Your thoughts? Can Putin claw out of this trap, or will the Romanian-Polish line deliver Ukraine's thunderous edge? We await your insights. As billions of cubic meters of Romanian gas flood Europe's pipelines, Moscow's energy blackmail fades into irrelevance. Romania doesn't just claim the mask of a military stronghold, it devours Russia's market, emerging as a pivotal energy titan. This severing of ties strikes deep, amplifying Europe's defiance. Bucharest's surge buries Gazprom's ambitions completely. Delving into intelligence depths, Romania's lordship over the great Danube Delta guts Russian river onslaught potential. Path to Ukraine's Izmail and Reni harbors stays wide open, even amidst relentless drone fury. Romania's layered air shields and shoreline watchers ensure no breach. Russia's Shahid barrages erupt each night like sonic booms, yet Romanian border NATO radars pinpoint them swiftly, forwarding details to Ukraine's aerial sentinels. Damage erodes to nothingness. This bilateral intel mesh erects a digital fortress, smashing Russia's asymmetric horrors. Surveying the vast map, Russia's famed strategic expanse lies neutered entirely. Northern Baltic waves crash in vain, southern Black Sea swells mute the eagle's call. Western Eastern European steppes buzz with hostile advance. That storied buffer doctrine, Russia's centuries-old bulwark, succumbs to NATO's proactive defensive wall. Putin's troops face no enigma beyond borders, for opposing muzzles peer back unrelentingly. Romania's evolution transcends mere self-armament. It manifests the West's encircled gambit against the Kremlin, a total checkmate. On the grand board, no refuge lingers for Moscow's ploy. So, ponder deeply, can Putin navigate this spiraling Black Sea doom? Will Romania's shield neutralize the Russian fleet, granting Ukraine unmatched potency? We eagerly seek your perspectives, your likes fuel the dialogue. The scent of imminent disruption lingers, smoky trails of disrupted plans. Textures of frayed maps crumple under pressure. Rethinking alliances forged in fire. This unexplored arc, Russia's retreat under Romania's heel humiliates its imperial facade, birthing a continent reborn. Yet, the shock lingers. What if Ukraine's allies splinter at the peak, granting Putin one last, devious escape? From above, the panorama exposes Russia's neutralized core. Seas on north and south, plains to the west, all once safeguarding depths, now besieged by forward NATO lines. Voyaging uncertain ceases, cannons beyond the frontier are fixed, unwavering threats. Romania embodies more than fortified ranks, it's the ultimate encirclement by Western powers, clinching victory on the battlefield of minds. Chess squares diminish. Kremlin's avenues evaporate. Reflect now, minds churning. Can Putin evade the swirling Black Sea pitfall? Shall Poland and Romania's fortified court utterly dismantle Russia's naval menace, empowering Ukraine to dominate? Anticipate your comments, your support amplifies the narrative. Winds howl with change, carrying echoes of crumbling facades. Gritty soil vibrates from distant maneuvers. This emotional crescendo propels us toward revelation. Europe's unified stand massages peace into reality, yet unveils rivalries that could ignite anew. But dare to question, is this Romania's crowning glory, or a facade masking deeper chaos? Your curiosity ignites the core. Thoughts whirl, escape possible? Can Putin fracture this loop, or does the Bucharest-Warsaw nexus render Russia's fleets obsolete, catapulting Ukraine's prowess to dizzying heights? Await your takes, excitement builds. All allies in Ukraine unite in pursuing peace for Ukraine. Yet, defeats stack, amplifying the sting. Dream of liberation, taste salty desperation. This swift pivot humiliates Kremlin hubris, but begs, will proxies rise? Twisting fate? Strategy crumbles. Imagined impasses dissolve into night. Can salvation dawn? Naval neutralizations loom. Ukraine's wins multiply. Your insights? Bucharest's economic hammer falls on Gazprom. Intelligence reveals Romania's Danube Delta hold quashes river assaults. Snake-like routes to Izmail and Reni endure, bolstered by defensive silos and watching eyes. Shahid vapors meet instant radar interception, data channeled, weakening blows. Allied fusion weakens terror thrusts. Map unveils shattered Russian largesse. Baltic North, Black South, Plains West, buffer myths shatter to forward NATO barricades. Enemy's positions bare, awaiting barrels level judgment. Transcendence shines, more than armament. Encircling closure on Russia, Randboard move less. Query echoes, can escape be? Will neutralizations gift dominance? Expect discourse. Tensions pulse. Stinging barbs of humiliation. Vivid betrayals nest. Rhetorical darts, crumbling throne? Humiliation's bite? Epic twist looms. Yak 141s emerge? Or thunderous defeat affirms Europe's vow? Reflect, foresee the unmasking.